Pump the beat up.
Yeah,
I'm cool with both.
Okay, for sure. So, for those of you that don't already know, this is Renegade.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah. So, what's up, dude?
How's it going? Chilling.
Besides the laptop?
Yeah, man. Besides the laptop, man. Nothing new.
So we'll explain to those who haven't watched. This is our second Renegade interview. The first one still at 1640. Quality wasn't that good. We were outside.
Construction.
Saw in the background.
Lots of construction. Yep.
Yeah, but now we're here. New spot. How do you like it so far? I mean,
It's chill. A lot quieter, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Pretty dope area, being like right in smack middle of LA.
Isn't like the Oslo pop-up shop
Yeah,
just down the
that's-
street?
that's
Yeah,
good.
so it's everything's here. LA.
man.
It's cool.
Just give us a quick backstory. Don't get too into it, but just give us a quick details. Where'd you grow up in?
Yeah, so I grew up in Maryland. I came out here about 3 years ago to go to Icon Collective Music Production School. From there, I was making a lot of house music, and then decided about halfway through that I didn't like making house music anymore, so I started making dubstep and trap. And then from there, I found out that's what I like doing the most, and then just kept getting more experimental with it. And then I guess now I've just been making rhythm and a lot of dubstep tunes and just been grinding away. Graduated about 2 years ago now, so
So, what have you been doing ever since you graduated school?
just been grinding, making tunes,
Making tunes. Only rhythm
networking,
tunes?
rhythm, dubstep, trap, a little bit of trap, mostly dubstep and rhythm.
How'd you end up with that?
I stumbled across a Dirty Snatcher tune with Monks back in, almost 2 years ago. It's called Damn Girl, and I heard that tune and I was like, whoa, this is super sick. This is not like other dubstep, not knowing that rhythm was already a thing, but it was my first time hearing it, and so I was like, yo, I really like this. So I decided to try to make a track similar to it. That track was called Versace. I ended up pitching it over to him, never got a response. And then I was under management at the time, and then they had pitched the tune over to him. He liked it, decided to sign it under Dirty Snatcher Promotions, and I was like, hey, that's my favorite tune by him, and I was inspired by it. Why can't I do this too? And so I just kept making it over and over and over and again, and here I am.
That was, what, 2 years ago?
Almost 2 years ago, yeah.
And then nowadays, you guys have at least 3 collabs, right? You and Dirty Snatcher?
We have 2 collabs as of right now,
2.
talking about a third, but that has not been set in stone yet.
Okay.
And then I have about 4 releases on their label, his Dirty Snatcher Promotions.
Yeah. So you guys have a pretty close relationship now?
Over online. Yeah. He's over he's in the UK, moved to Canada recently, so talking online through Facebook and stuff, yeah, we've been pretty tight, so
Do you guys
a lot
have
of support.
any other type of plans as far as music?
We've talked briefly about doing shows in the future. As he just moved to Canada, so we're still working on that, and hopefully something will come of it.
So, I mean, I feel like you are pretty set on knowing a lot about the industry because you've gone to Icon. You've done that. You said, or something that you mentioned to us last time was they don't just help you with the music production side of things, they help you with the marketing,
Marketing,
personal
yeah,
branding, all that kind of
networking. It's huge, around like 400 students that are like doing music, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? Making music. What are you doing? Making music. And can just like collaborate and just make new friends. You never know who knows who. People know different people, and just 400 people doing the same thing versus where I was from in Maryland. Drive 2 hours to Baltimore to meet one person doing the same thing I was doing was, when everybody's close by doing it, it's just way easier. So networking was huge.
Yeah.
Definitely huge.
What else do you feel helped you in particular
Um,
going to Icon?
Definitely marketing. It gave me a whole new look on how I really should portray myself and my image and my brand. I didn't realize that your brand says a lot about who you are. So it made me rethink and reevaluate what my brand was going to be. Also, the business side of things, like you could be really good at production and really good at music production and whatnot, but if you don't know business, the business side of things, like there are labels out there that will screw you over left and right. There are people out there that's just going to use you, especially out here in Los Angeles. Everybody's trying to get to the top, and like that happens all the time. Like left and right, people are constantly using each other. So
Do you mean
knowing the business is really important.
Do you mean like the money side of the business, or just simply
It's
getting by without
Just
getting
getting
fucked
by
over?
in general. It's like there's the money side, there's just getting by in general. Like people will find ways to like use you in one way or another. Whether it's using some part of your brand to push themselves in their own agenda, or if it's like you're supposed to do something related and you're gonna get paid for it, but you don't know exactly the business side of things, and next thing you know, you're getting tossed aside and you don't get paid. It's just
Have you like got screwed over in any situation? You feel like
many times. Yeah, it's all a learning experience though.
Yeah,
So it's all a learning experience. Yeah. I don't like to get too much into it just because it's.
Yeah,
I don't want to call out names here, but
it happens.
yeah,
To everybody.
it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
But having gone to Icon, it really helped me realize there is a full business side while there's still a whole production side. And you can, if you know both of them pretty well, you can even them out and have a pretty good idea of where to go.
On the more positive side, is you doing a track every 10 days stemming from coming from Icon? Is that something you kind of were taught to do there, or you were like, nah,
just
I'm just gonna
staying
put out a tune every 10
consistent,
days?
like staying consistent, constantly, like having releases where people can look at your profile and be like, oh, this guy's constantly releasing tunes. It's like something that people come back to. I chose 10 days because 2 weeks almost seems like it's too long, but 1 week is too short. So 10 days is just kind of like the in between. I've been sitting on a lot of tracks. I have about 40 tracks I'm sitting on right now, and I figured just take the top 5 right now and just push one out every 10 days and we'll see where it goes. And then 10 days is just enough to show people that you're working, you're still putting out content. People can come back to you, they can listen to other music and then realize, oh, 10 days he's going to be back, so they can come back to your page. Plus, it's just a good number. It's easy to remember. So,
When did you start dropping consecutively like that?
that my first track I started doing that with was Snakeskin. That was about 2.5 weeks ago. And then I dropped the Walla Lang Lang Flip, which was about a week and a half or 10 days ago. And then yesterday I just dropped my new track, Voices.
When did you drop 17 Seconds? Was that
17 Seconds Late was the self-release.
Self-release?
Mhm.
Okay, that wasn't part of this whole marketing scheme?
Nope. Nope. It was all just a self-release. I had been doing a track a month to 2 tracks a month, and then realized that it was just random Sundays or random Wednesday, and I was like, you know what? People want to come back on a certain day. Remember, so I figured, let's just put it 10 days, and we'll go from there.
So how's the reaction been?
It's been pretty decent. Quite surprised, actually, because, it's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and, people having a good reaction from a lot of people, it's what we like to see and stuff, so it's done pretty well. I've gotten quite a few plays on the Welling Flip that just came out, so it's doing well. Hopefully it keeps going up.
How do you go about something like holding on to 40 tunes and then, I would think, strategically putting them out, right?
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
Honestly, I have a lot of friends I've talked to. I just pitched them the tunes. I was like, yo, what do you think of this tune? Like, I've got this tune, and this tune. I want to put them out. I don't want to just sit on them for months and months. Which ones do you guys think are your favorite tunes? Which ones are my favorite tunes? Having different opinions from different people, different opinions from my girlfriend, who's helped me out a lot. Just different people helping me out and telling me which ones they liked. And then the ones that had the most likes on them, I was just like, okay, these 5 tracks are the ones that people are going to like more. I like them. I was happy with them. I was okay with them. Just start rolling them out from there.
So do you start putting out the ones that are your favorite first?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I put out the ones that are just a little, they're all, like, I like all my tunes, but I put the one out that I know the next one's just going to be a little bit better each time. So that way it's just a little bit of progression each time.
Yeah, we've had like a couple people come through here and be like, yeah, I put out a tune and I'm not going to put out another one until it's better than the previous one.
Yep.
Yeah,
I make sure,
you don't want to put a tune out that's not as good as your last one.
Yeah, if you put out a tune that's really good, I mean, it happens. Like, we all put out tunes, and sometimes you put out a tune that doesn't do so well or isn't as great. But since I'm sitting on almost 40 tracks, like, I can actually plan them a little bit more strategically, plan out which tunes are better, and say, okay, I'm going to put this one out first, and this one's going to be a little bit better, this one's going to be a little bit better, and just continue from there.
Can you do me a favor? Close the door.
Any collabs in there?
I've got a few collabs I'm working on right now. I've got one with OG Nixon that I'm working on currently. I've got a couple other collabs I cannot announce, unfortunately. But OG Nixon is one of the ones I'm looking forward to and working with him, so it'll be pretty cool. He's from the Riverside area, so.
Do you like doing collabs?
Yeah.
Or do you prefer working by yourself?
Ooh, depends.
Let me get the pros and cons.
It depends, yeah.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
collabs.
Yeah, no, pros and cons. I would say the pros of working with other people is you can learn their workflow, you can learn how they do things, and like see how other people like work around things. Maybe he EQ something differently, and I would have never thought about doing that, and I learned something new. Whereas sometimes his creative idea could also mess around with my creative idea, and we both go separate directions. We're like, oh, I want to go this way, and I want to go this way. So it could go both ways. But I honestly prefer doing collabs like over splice or like away from each other, so that way I can have a whole day just to work myself on the track. If I want to mess around with it and get as creative as wild as I want to, I can do that. Then send it to him for a whole day. He can do whatever he wants with it. Versus like being in the studio together where we're both sitting there for like 2 hours, like trying to get a chord progression, can't get something down, or trying to get some drums down and or samples. So I like collabs, but I prefer doing them away, like different studios over the computer. Of course, when it comes down to final mix down, final master, if we can, we'll meet up and do that in the studio together. But get all the creative ideas and stuff down first and stuff.
So it kind of seems like you prefer to be working by yourself, but you're totally for you know being influenced by other people,
of course,
learning from other people.
Yeah, no, I happen to just I feel like my style of music, where I want to go with it, is just a little bit different. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's worse. It's just different. It's different than your typical rhythm. It's different than your typical dubstep. And so, the way I try to do things is I like to just sit there, focus on it myself. And if I'm going to do a collab with someone, I'm more than open to do so. But I would rather send them a whole track that I've worked on, have them work on it, by themselves, and then send it back and see what can come from there. That way, new ideas can spark. I have a whole day to think about it, and it just goes from there.
How about like playing live? Do you enjoy playing yourself, or do you like doing back to back?
Back to backs are fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Honestly, I get nervous.
Playing back to backs or
no, by myself. Like I get nervous, so it's like back to backs are fun. Just that way, we're both nervous on stage. Like, see who can play the better track or whatever. Just have fun. It's like going back and forth and seeing like, oh, you just chopped that, or oh, you chopped this. And it's like, all right, let's go here, and it's fun. So
yeah, I think it was when we interviewed Ben's mixer. He said he was all for the back to backs.
Oh, there's too much fun.
Culture, yeah.
The culture, yeah. It's all like together. Like there's a little bit of competition in it, but there's also like the friends part of it. Like you guys are having a lot of fun together. Yeah. You're sharing music together, enjoying the same thing together. It's for me. I like back to backs better.
Yeah, that's kind of why I feel like we should do that whole back to back thing instead of 2 30-minute mixes, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's a friendly competition.
Yeah, friendly competition all the way.
Drop the dopest
he's gonna drop the hardest track. Yeah, like, it's like he's gonna drop the hardest double or whatever, and go from there. Yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. So, what's the future look like for you right now?
As of right now,
set in stone?
As of right now, I'm gonna continue rolling out these tracks. I just put out a new one called Voices yesterday. I'm doing a whole 10 tracks or 5 tracks for the next 5 tracks every 10 days. So I guess yesterday was Wednesday, so the next Sunday I'll be releasing another track called Space Kittens, and then the following Sunday I'll continue releasing tracks from there on out. Future looks pretty good. I'm just continuing the grind. As of right now, I'm without a laptop, so it's kind of put a little barrier in between the things, but I'm working on mixing. I'm working on like other things I can do, like my social media and like things I can focus on without having a laptop, because not everything revolves around the production side. It's again something I learned from Icon. Like, let's say your resources aren't there. Well, there's other resources, your social media game, their marketing, their branding. So, with that going on, I'm still focusing on other things as well. So
yeah, in particular, like what's something that you've been doing?
Right now on my downtime, a little bit of PUBG. PUBG on mobile, that's a lot of fun. I get bored. But no, I've been mixing a lot more, like DJing a lot more. I've also gone out networking more, taking this opportunity to go on a network. Whereas maybe I wouldn't have gone out to network because I was in the studio producing a track. Taking the time to also up my social media game. So I'm like working on my Twitter, I'm working on my Instagram, a little bit on my Facebook. I need to work more on that, but that's pretty much what I've been doing and focusing on right now with that.
Back to the Icon thing, how do you feel going that direction, the school direction, instead of kind of like learning it on your own? It has helped you. I mean, you touched on the marketing and like the production part, but like going the school route instead of doing it yourself, do you think that was beneficial for you, or do you think you could have done it on your own if you? You
could definitely do it on your own. Everything's online nowadays. You can go on YouTube, pull up a tutorial on how to do, like how to make a certain sound, how to make dubstep, how to make rhythm, and there'll be tutorials, hundreds of tutorials you can look through and watch, versus like when I was starting producing 7 years ago. I think I mentioned this last time, where it's like I'd have to watch a video of a dog, and some guy talking about his dog, for like 30 minutes, and then like finally there's that little section, it's like, so here's how you make dubstep, and it's like, oh, but if you skip the video, you'll miss that little 30-second part.
Yeah.
But now you can go online and everything's right there. It's accessible for everybody. So I mean, you don't need to go to school, but like I said, one of the biggest things from Icon was the fact that I was around 400 other students doing the same exact thing. Whereas if I was at home doing that, it's like I don't have anyone to talk to who's doing the same thing. So it's like, you know,
group.
I'm sorry?
Support group?
Yeah, full support system, support group. Plus, like, if you have general questions, like, who are you going to ask? You can't, like, there's forums online you can go to, but when you have people around you doing the same thing, you can just ask someone next to you and they can help you out. It just makes for a better community. It makes for a better learning. Like I said, it touched base on a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to pick up by myself. So sometimes you just need to do things in order to learn, and having gone to Icon helped me out with that a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely something I guess experimented with. I've tried looking at tutorials. I have like the intro version to Ableton. Yeah, I've tried looking at tutorials, but bro, like,
it's hard when you don't have anyone to sit there and tell you like do this or do that, and you're trying to watch a tutorial. It's like rewind.
And then like you said, like
What did
you have
you
a
just
question
say?
in your head, and you're like, what
You
do I
can't.
do? I
You can't
do
ask.
anything.
No, you can't. You can't ask at all. Like you could type a comment. Good luck if he replies. But you know, having a school system where like someone actually can sit there and you have a question and ask someone, they can turn on and be like, oh yeah, I know I explained it this way, but they can explain it in the further details versus like a YouTube video. It's just a YouTube video. You might have to go look up more videos in order to find it. So having the teacher, having mentors and all that, students around you just really helps out a lot.
What are your thoughts on mixing music with something not taken so seriously in the society, like memes?
Ooh. Oh man, memes are so popular now. Like it took over Facebook. It took over the internet. It's so dumb, but to everybody it's so funny. Everybody loves it. So it works. So like I mean, I would just say like the more music content you can get in there with it, the better, because everybody's staring at memes. Everybody's like going on Facebook to look at memes. Everybody's going on Instagram to look at memes. Like that's all people do. Like
it's just like so much funny shit.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, same thing, right?
I guess, yeah. No, there's also some shit that you're just like, all right, this is just stupid.
Enough internet for the day. Like,
yeah,
go off, log off.
Off.
But yeah, if you're able to, make music or put music to memes and stuff, like, yeah, it's just a plus because it's now visual and you can also hear it, so people remember it more.
Yeah, I think the worst, best one that I've seen was when Dirty Snatcher posted the lawnmower one.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Is that the one with which one was that? That was the
flying lawnmower.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. When did it come out?
Probably like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he's been dropping a lot.
I saw the Simpsons one.
The Simpsons one.
Yeah.
Like the kitty one.
The kitty one was the best, with the kittens going with their heads up and down. Yeah, he nailed that perfectly.
We've been talking to somebody through our page. His name is Meme Dubs.
Meme Dubs. Okay.
He's like pretty big on Facebook. He just runs like a dubstep meme page. He just
synchronizes
synchronizes like.
I'm about to check that out.
A bunch of memes. He's been sending us like a bunch of stuff from like America's Got Talent, like.
Is that the one where the old grandmother was playing at America's Got Talent and the whole crowd was like going like this to rhythm? And I saw that. I sent it to a bunch of my friends. That was funny. That was super funny.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that one. That's big.
Yeah.
Which one got big? Oh, Rick and Morty.
There's a lot of Rick and Morty ones out there.
There's so much.
I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. So, do you have a favorite track of yours?
Right now, Voices.
Voices.
Just because I feel like it would be a good track to double drop with another track. It can go almost with any track with the elongated note, the sustained note, which is really popular now in rhythm with the underlaying bass synth. That live would just go off. I can just already see it. I haven't seen it live yet, but I pitched out to a bunch of producers and stuff who downloaded it. And so if I were to hear it live, it would be pretty sick. And just knowing like how rhythm is nowadays, like everybody wants to hear the double drop, everybody wants to hear the chops, everybody wants to hear like something crazy, like some like wah sound with some crazy background noises. So, that would definitely have to be one of my favorite tracks, I guess, play-wise. Favorite track for, I guess, not so much like for playing, I guess, my favorite track I made was, there's so many that I've made that I like, but I'd have to go with All Out, the one I did with Dirty Snatcha, just because the way we knocked that out in like 3 days was just like super quick. The idea flowed out really quick. It's catchy. People can relate to it, catch on to it, and then just be able. It has the drop. It has the melodic part of it. So those would probably be my 2 favorite tracks that I've made.
What are your like favorite songs that are not your own?
Oh wow, there's so many of them, man.
Right now, like
Right
off the
now.
top of your head.
I really like what Odd Prophet's putting out right now. That one tune, that one EP he just put out, Never Say Die, was
Yeah,
super sick.
that was
Yeah. I really like a lot of the stuff that Sudden Death Castles was insane. The way that he brought back that old 2012 like big room vibe, but then brought it into today's sound, and then has his own twist, of course, to it. That's honestly very creative in my opinion. So it's got to be one of my favorite tunes. Rise, of course. That whole Void EP was just it's
The
insane.
whole Void like marketing scheme
It's
where he just
phenomenal.
told everybody
Phenomenal.
that whole like, oh, it's Somnium Sound, nah, it's Void, nah, it's Sudden Death, nah, it's just
Yeah,
EP,
no, it's
bro.
yeah,
He just-
no, it's the
he just
Midnight
promoted the
Tea?
shit out of the EP, yeah.
yeah. And then that was insane. That's probably one of my favorite EPs out right now.
Yeah.
Just because of the marketing behind it, the creativity behind it, the fact that it just goes super hard. Like, it's yeah. I've also been digging this tune King Kong by my buddies Chain Links. I don't know if you guys heard it, but that tune goes off. So that's one of my favorite tunes right now. But there's a lot of good content out there. So
I was gonna ask you a question. Is the whole mindset of knowing that double drops and chops are really big in this scene, does that influence your decision to make a tune? Or do you have it in your head before you make a tune like, hey, I don't have too many things that I can double drop, I'm gonna make one that I can double drop? Or does it kind of just end up like that?
I mean, I like to think that with the way the sound is nowadays, like everybody wants to hear a double drop more nowadays. So when I make music, I try to make something more that I know I could double drop. So going into it, like I go into it without even thinking about it. So like for example, like I'll just open up my DAW, throw in some kicks and snares and claps, I guess claps nowadays, but throw in some patterns, throw in a couple sounds, start messing around with it, just get crazy with it, not know where I'm going with it, and then halfway through the project I realize, okay, I've got this idea down, now how can I make it so this can be playable? And thinking about what everybody's playing nowadays, a lot of people are playing double drops, a lot of people are chopping tracks. Okay, what can I do here to make this where it sound good if it's double drop, where it sound good if it was chopped?
How do you know when a track is finished?
You don't.
No?
You don't. You really don't. There's so
people-
many times I've released tracks where I thought they were finished and people told me this is super sick, and then I'll come back and listen to it after the day after I released it, and I'm like, oh, I could have done this, this, and this, and this. I think that's part of being a producer is like to us, they're never done. Like
hard on yourself.
it's just we're always hard on ourselves. But I think when a track is finished, when you have it 95%, and I say 95% because 95% is still a good ratio of being almost complete. That extra 5% is for all the producers and us critiquing ourselves and what we could have done and what we can do. And that 5% will never go away. Like that's gonna always be in our heads. Like, oh, I could have done this. Oh, I could have done this. So when I hit that, like where I feel like I've hit that threshold of 95%, then for me the track is finished. But I can always go back to it. I can always change it. I can always make it go better. But that's why I always try to make the next track better. So if I make a track and I'm like, okay, a lot of people are liking this. I know this is done. If I keep touching it, it's just going to not be what it was yesterday and it's never going to be done. Or I can say, this is done. Let it sit at what it is. Leave the extra 5% for myself to learn and then apply that for the next song. So, hey, I didn't fix the EQ exactly the way I wanted it here. I didn't really make that pattern the way I wanted it to here. And it's too late now. Well, I can do that for the next track. And that's how my tracks continue to get better and better and better each time.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of when people start playing out their IDs, and they're obviously still a work in progress, but if they're good, they'll start to make noise and people will start to recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends up being that particular track doesn't drop for like 6 months later. And then everybody's like, yo, like I've heard this like a year ago. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I've noticed that a lot too. And I'm not really playing shows right now. I have a show announcement to make soon. Can't say much about it yet as I have not fully got everything together yet, but hopefully we'll be able to announce that within the next couple of weeks. But as from seeing other artists, I'll see an ID that gets played out like a year ago, and then continue being played out. I'll hear a different variation of it each time, and then finally, when the track finally does come out a year later, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's completely different, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, but yeah.
Is that what you mean by like the 5% thing? Like it's kind of just a work in progress until it
For
actually
me,
comes out?
from at least for me, like I don't know for everybody else. Everybody else has their own workflows. Everybody else is different. But for me, that 5% would be like, okay, this is where I could do this and this and this and this with it, and then continue to like add on to it or take away something or fix something up here, fix something there. So.
What about your ideal thoughts on the right way to put out a track? Because I feel like with RIDDIM right now, I don't really know what to call it, but just for example, the song Lowest, it's out. But I feel like that is one of the more known songs in RIDDIM. And for a little while, it was kind of weird. Like people would get mad when you would kind of tell them what track it was. As if you were supposed to not know what it was, but play the song so that people could hype it up.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I did see something sort of about that. I didn't know too much about it, but I did see like a small part of that. I don't honestly like. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't get how knowing the track of the name or the track's name somehow like makes it worse or like is not beneficial to the artist.
I don't even know. Like, I guess it's just I don't know. RIDDIM.
Where do you think RIDDIM's headed? Like, how do you see like its growth?
Oh man, it can go anywhere honestly, because the fact that like it's built up so much hype. Like Shaquille O'Neal is playing RIDDIM, is dropping tracks left and right, as we were talking a little bit about earlier, before this interview. But yeah, I think that RIDDIM is just going to continue getting better and better. I think the sounds that people are going to be using is just going to keep getting more advanced and more technical. The fact that everything is technical, it's all on a computer, it's all software, it's all technology, there really is no limit. It can just be anywhere. And the fact that there's no limit, it can only be taken to new heights. So I think over the next year, next 2 years, you're just going to continue hearing sounds that you've never heard before and new variations that you've never heard before and new ideas that you've never heard before. And it's just going to keep getting better.
Do you think any other subgenres will stem out from RIDDIM? Or do you think it'll just be the new age RIDDIM?
You could say new age RIDDIM, I guess. I would say, I mean, it's hard to say because RIDDIM has become so hot to what it is right now and everybody knows it as RIDDIM. But like I said, there's going to be different variations and different sounds and different like grooves that people are going to be doing and different spins off of it. And eventually there'll be something new that breaks that barrier that people call something different, whether it's new age RIDDIM or it's going to be something completely different. But I think with the way electronic dance music is nowadays, it's just going to keep progressively getting better. It's going to keep getting more technical. It's going to keep getting more advanced and sounds like you've never heard before. So.
What about the show side of things? I feel like right now we're kind of starting to see possibly the peak or the later end of the festival area. I feel like everybody has a festival now. I mean, there can only be so many festivals.
Right.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer to play a bunch of festival gigs, or would you rather play smaller, intimate gigs where there's only fans going to see that particular genre? Because festivals obviously are scattered. What do you think?
It depends on the scenario. I mean, I would love to play festivals as that would be a lot of fun. It would be a good experience to have as an artist, to be able to play in front of a big crowd would be fun. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta remember, like, for me at least, I like connecting with the fans. Like, the whole reason I do music in the first place is because I want to connect with people. Like, I want my music to relate with someone who's having a bad day or someone who's having a good day. Like, they can hear the song and be like, hey, this helped me feel better in this way, or this made me feel a certain way and helped me get through my day in some way or another. So having those smaller events, those smaller venues where or the smaller, I guess, shows where kids can come out that only like that certain style, like that's a lot more, I guess, connected versus at a festival where you're playing to someone who may not even know what EDM is.
Yeah.
It could be the very first time they're rolling on Molly or
they're just
tripping
drugs,
balls somewhere, and then they hear rhythm and they're just like, oh, what is this? And opens the door for something new for somebody, but with a smaller, more, more rhythm fans, or more of a fan base that's driven to a certain sound like rhythm. To play for something, a smaller event like that, is more heartfelt. It's more connected for the artist and the fans, and that's what I personally like better, just because it's a way of really being able to connect with people on a different level.
Yeah.
Those people were able to relate with you in a certain way, and now you can just give back.
Yeah.
So
I feel like definitely when you're in the type of venue like a warehouse or something, everybody's on the same level.
Everybody's on the same level.
In there.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Whereas at a festival, you got people lost. What's this? What stage is this? Like
people getting light shows.
Yeah, people are looking for certain artists. People are looking for a certain stage. People don't even know what's going on half the time. Like it's chaos, man.
No, yeah, there's definitely like something different about just the energy when people around you are going to have to.
Yeah.
Not that people don't mosh at festivals, but I mean it's frowned upon at certain festivals. They'll probably even stop at some places.
Yeah, and the bigger the crowd, the more dangerous it is. And like if you think about it, like you got 50,000 people moshing versus like a small 100 people moshing or 200 people moshing. Like it's obviously a lot more dangerous with a lot more people to get trampled, more people to not get seen. Like it's just
think about that.
Yeah, it can get crazy. So
have you ever been to EDC?
I have not. I'm actually honestly waiting for the right moment to hopefully get booked one day, and then be able to say my first EDC was playing. So that's kind of been a goal of mine since I got into music. So
playing EDC
and not going to EDC until I played it.
Would that be your I made it moment?
I don't know if that would be my I made it moment, but it would definitely be something I worked super hard for. If that were to ever happen, I think that it would be a cool experience to say like first time I ever played, first time I ever went to EDC was when I played it, and be able to tell people that would be really cool. I don't know if that would be my I made it moment though. I think more of I'm making it would be more of me knowing that I can do what I love, which is making music, and being able to fully support myself, support my girlfriend, support like what I do, and be able to like continue doing what I love while being financially stable for the rest of my life.
As far as music specifically, what kind of goals do you have? Like something like playing EDC, for example.
Yeah, definitely playing EDC Rampage Fest of Belgium. That would be super sick. That would be probably one of my biggest goals. That would be one of my I made it moments. EDC definitely would be an I made it moment, but like for making it for me is honestly like being able to fully support myself financially and do what I love. But if I am able to play EDC, am I able to play Rampage, I'm able to play like Hard Summer or something like that, that would be a dream. Like that would be like, that's more than I made it. Like that's, I guess, like, I don't know exactly how to even explain that because I've never been there. So just got to keep working until I get there.
What's been like your favorite moment so far in your music career at this point?
One of my favorite moments was the fact that I was able to collab with Dirty Snatcha, as Dirty Snatcha was the whole reason I got into RIDDIM in the first place. Seeing Dirty Snatcha and Monk's track, that one track Damn Girl, which got me into it, and then a couple months fast forward, I'm working with him. That was like, oh wow, like if the fact that I was able to look up to someone like that, be able to collab with him, that was honestly one of the biggest like things that pushed me forward to motivate me to keep getting better and to keep working harder. I've had a lot of awesome moments. I played an after party for Multiverse in Philly, which was a lot of fun. So that was like my first, I guess, flying out of the state to play in a different state and play a show, which was super cool. So that kind of gave me that, oh, I'm an artist feel, be able to do what I love and travel for it, which is the ultimate goal, I guess. That's also another goal of mine, is like to travel and do what I love. So that was obviously like a really great moment. I think one of the best moments almost happens every single day. It's just like going out and networking and connecting with new people, because that's, again, for me what it's all about. Like when I go out to a show and meet someone new, like that's always like, it's just like, it's cool. Like I enjoy like going out and meeting new people, networking with people. When moments when I meet someone, they're like, "Oh, hey, I've heard your music." Those are always magical, and like they feel great too. So those are always moments I've looked up to and like look forward to. So to experiencing, having. But there's been a lot of like cool moments I've had. So
Nice. All right. Anything else you can talk about? You want to talk about?
anything else you guys want to ask? And I'm open, but
I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. Where can people find you again?
you guys can find me on my SoundCloud is Renegade, spelled with a V instead of an A, as there's a Renegade car, which I don't want people looking up my name and then finding a car and being like, "Where's your music, bro?" Like, so no, it's Renegade with a V, and then my socials for like Twitter handle and my Instagram are it's Renegade. So,
All right, guys, this was Renegade for the second time. We'll
Sweet.
surely be seeing more of them. Make sure to look out for this guy. This guy's